Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Perpetuality. I have reviewed a lot of Seiko divers in the past 2 years of running this channel. Many of them are outstanding. The King Sumo is a cult classic, and it's really important Seiko doesn't mess with a classic. However, with this new generation of King Sumo, they've gone and made some changes. This year, we are spoiled with 3 dial choices: a rich ocean blue, a dusty beige color, and finally a matte black dial with a globe patty pattern. I think Seiko has gone as far as reaching peak Seiko diver. What do I mean by that? The quality of their dive watches within the Prospects mid-range line of watches cannot possibly get any better than this. Seiko has given us a ceramic bezel, they've trimmed down the case thickness to 12.9 millimeters, a good 0.7 millimeters thinner than its predecessor. They've also given us a new movement, well, not necessarily new, but an updated one, the 6R35 with 70 hours of power reserve, an improvement from the 50 hours power reserve of the older 6R15. Among the 3 King Sumos that we have today, one of them is a special edition, under the Save the Ocean line of dive watches. The PADI Association has been working with Seiko over the Marine Debris Program, which is an initiative to clean up the ocean floor. The world's largest project, in fact, where citizens are involved with mapping out the ocean floor. More than 70,000 divers have contributed to the Dive Against Debris project, where they've mapped out a comprehensive underwater database on seafloor debris on the planet. More importantly, Seiko is involved with giving back into the projects to maintain the coral reef, removing fish nets, participating in the environmental changes in the Antarctica, and also underwater archaeology. Perhaps the biggest update or departure from the original Sumo is now the inclusion of a ceramic bezel insert. Gone is the aluminum bezel insert, now in with a more clinical, scratch-resistant ceramic bezel that has a deep luster to it. Unfortunately, it isn't lumed, but the quality is there. It is 120 clicks. I'll let you take a listen to the sound. There is no play in the bezel and the sound is quite decent. I could tell you to go for a smaller Seiko diver, but I think too many watch reviewers shoehorn watches to specific wrist sizes. I'm not a believer in that at all. Buy what suits your wrist, and I think comfort on the wrist matters far more. The heft is around 190 grams for the King Sumo on a bracelet. It's not unbearable, and it is in line with most dive watches. For example, the 62 mass reissue or reinterpretation is only 180 grams, 10 grams less than the King Sumo. Combined with the very svelte case at 12.9 millimeters, it is undoubtedly comfortable. It has lugs that curve and arc that only add to the comfort. For those wanting to know, my wrist is around 6.5 inches, but this is a comfortable diver. Splitting the difference between the other 2 King Sumos on a bracelet is the SPB325 PADI on the rubber strap. It's a high quality one. It flares up from 20 millimeters at the watch head to 22 millimeters, and it maintains that width all the way to the tail end of the strap. On the tail end of the strap, you're greeted by the Kanagawa wave, the same Seiko motif on the back of the case. Flipping the strap around, you have these indentations or ripples that air out the rubber strap, useful during summertime, and definitely will help in drying off the strap on your wrist when you're done diving with it. A high quality keeper and buckle signed with the Seiko logo is included with the rubber strap. Isn't this the perfect dial color for fall? The dusty beige warm dial of the SPB323 is certainly my favorite standout of the 3. Which one of the dials of the 3 here speak to you the most? Let me know in the comments. I've always felt that if a watch had to be wide, it should still be thin and wear small, as opposed to a smaller diameter case but a thicker case that wears larger. I'm kind of looking at you, Tudor Black Bay Pro. The King Sumo retains its predecessor's clever tricks. 20mm lugs on the lug side of the case, attached to a 45mm case, lends to the illusion of a smaller watch. Unfortunately, the bracelet relies on pins and collars to affix itself together. However, gone are the central polished ridges of the older bracelet, and in are the simple classic 3-link design. 20mm from the head of the bracelet, and it goes pretty much straight over to a 20mm clasp. You have 4 points of micro adjustment, which is a welcome addition, and a diver's extension is a simple safety clasp deployed by 2 buttons on each side, and you're able to release the clasp very easily. Stainless steel in construction all around. The entirety of the bracelet over to the case is covered by DiaShield coating to harden the steel, making it more resistant to wear and scratches. Flipping the watch over, we are greeted by a traditional screw caseback or screw down caseback with the Kanagawa motif. Both the SPB321 and the SPB323 are blessed with a textured dial that has tight wave-like patterns. From a distance, it looks like a stretched honeycomb lattice. You are getting your standard Seiko Prospex level of dial quality. This means clean printing with very sharp hands, broadsword style, a carryover from its predecessor in fact. The hour indices are stamped onto the dial and filled with Seiko's proprietary Lume, then topped off with a gloss coat for a nice, attractive sheen. I enjoy the look of the larger hour indices and the simple hands of the King Sumo. In fact, I think they are two of the things that stand out on the King Sumo as opposed to the Marine Master 200 and the 62 mass reinterpretation. You're also getting a screw down crown on both of them, which is rated to 200 meters of water resistance. The case finishing to the brushed elements are all done extremely well, to be expected of Seiko. But getting on to the Seiko Paddy SPB325, it is all about subtle but not boring flavor. The minute hand is a turquoise blue that stands out from the matte black dial. The dial itself has a paddy globe motif that is just visually appealing and very interesting to look at. I truly enjoy the elements that are at play here, which the two different colors of the blue, the black, and the white, and how they play off each other. Seiko Prospex all stamped on the dial. I do think that of the three, the two that stand out the most to me are the beige SPB323 and definitely the Save the Ocean SPB325. Let me know what you guys think. At around $15.95 Canadian for the bracelet versions and $13.50 for the Save the Ocean on the rubber strap, you're getting a watch that I think ranks above the Marine Master 200 in quality and design appeal. Yes, I fully understand that those are excellent watches, but the King Sumo is what I think represents the endpoint for a peak Seiko diver. Of course, if you can't live with the larger case diameter, I wouldn't recommend this watch for you. And I do think that if Seiko went down in case diameter, it would cannibalize the sales of its siblings, and Seiko definitely doesn't want to do that. If you can live with the larger case and you love the dial colors, I fully recommend the King Sumo. I have not yet been disappointed by any of the Seiko divers within the Prospex lineup for Lume, and the King Sumo is no exception to that rule. It uses Seiko's Lume. It has good reaction to light, and the longevity is fairly decent. As you can see here, in moderate lighting, Lume is shining quite bright, and it does stay around for a good amount of time to be usable at that. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you like my content, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. It would definitely help out the channel, and I will see you in the next one.